So last night I was laying in bed trying to make myself fall asleep, and I was just kind of scrolling through TikTok, and I started to feel the temptation of sexual sin come into my mind. And in that moment, I kind of got pissed because I've been working extremely hard to eradicate sexual sin, to eradicate lust, temptation out of my life. I've been working extremely hard. I understand the effects of it. And I just cried out to God, like, why won't these desires go away? When will these desires go away? And in that moment, the phrase deny yourself came to mind. And as I rested on that, I fell asleep and I woke up the next morning, which is this morning. And I looked further into that phrase, and I want to talk about the revelation that God gave me. Yo, what's good, y'all? It's your boy, Paul Bernard II, also known as PB. My first question is, why did y'all let me get on this camera looking so rough? Whoo, boy, I look like I'm straight out the Hobbit, man. The ghetto version, man. I promise I'm gonna get a haircut soon, man. I'm not gonna always look this rough. Thank you for bearing with me. But also, I want to say that I'm committed to being open, transparent, and to allow my life to be used for the glory of God, for the benefit of his people and the benefit of his kingdom. I understand I'm not perfect, and God knows that. So who am I hiding from? So through this message, I'm just going to talk. I'm going to be vulnerable. And if you struggle with this thing of lust, I hope that this message encourages you and challenges you at the same time in the way that it did for me. So Luke 9:23. And he said to all, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross daily and follow me. So what Jesus is saying here is for us to deny ourselves, for us to deny our flesh, to say no to our fleshly desires. And that means two things. That means one, that our fleshly desires, innately what we feel like we want or deserve or desire, can be deceitful. So when this world is telling you to live your truth, live how you want, follow your heart, that is completely deceitful and completely contrary to what Jesus taught. And secondly, it means that these desires are not going to go away. Getting closer to God is not going to kill temptation altogether. Getting closer to God is going to give you the avenue and the pathway to kill those desires that your flesh is trying to get you to indulge in. What God is aiming for you to get at here is self-control. Proverbs 25:28, Solomon says, a man without self-control is like a city broken into and left without walls. A man without self-control is open to attack, influence, and temptation. That's the way that I defined it. So if you have no self-control, anything that's taking your self-control in your life, lust, sexual temptation, friends, peer pressure, alcohol, drugs, anything that's taken you away from making your body obedient to what Christ has told you to do is attacking your relationship with God. It's attacking your faith. And I'm telling you right now that if you don't have a barrier around your heart, around your faith, around your relationship with God, around your mind, if you don't have that barrier, that wall of protection, the enemy is going to continue to come and attack that relationship, and God is not going to feel comfortable to dwell in your life. It is your responsibility to have that protective instinct around your relationship with God. Give him a space to feel welcome and to dwell in, so that he can speak to you, so that he can abide with you, so that he can help you fight these battles. But if you have no self-control, God has no place to dwell in your life. So what I'm trying to get in here is that you need to get into the practice of denying yourself. It is not going to be easy up front, but understand that one, your body, your flesh is going to tell you to do things that are against what God is telling you. So that means you need to understand what God is telling you, and also understand what the enemy is trying to get you to do, so that you can discern between what is good and bad and say no to the things that the devil is trying to influence you to do. And also that means that these desires are not going to go away, and you need to fight these battles with that intention in mind, understanding that every time it comes, you are prepared to fight that battle. You are prepared to deny yourself, to deny your flesh, and submit to God. So I want to tell you a little story. When I was a teenager, I was an all-star athlete. Okay, maybe not an all-star, but I was an athlete. You know, I played soccer, I played basketball, I did boxing, I was active. And I used to eat like trash. I ate whatever I wanted. In fact, I had this routine where I'd go to McDonald's in the morning, get 3 McChickens, and that was my breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm not joking you. And literally, I was still running a sub 5:30 mile. I was one of the fastest people on my soccer team. I would go crazy, right? All the adults in my life at that time would tell me, hey, you got to stop this habit. Eventually, it's going to catch up to you. When you're in your 20s, in your 30s, in your 40s, you're not going to be able to eat like this. And I was like, oh man, whatever. And surely enough, at the age of 22, I moved to Texas and I fell in love with Texas barbecue, and I started gaining weight, y'all. I started gaining weight like crazy, and I was like, this is insane. I've never, ever had a problem with keeping my weight down in my life. So at this point, I realized I needed to have discipline. I talked to one of my friends who's a personal trainer, and he said, hey bro, you got to start with cutting out sugar. He said, you got to stop drinking juice. I looked at him sideways. I said, bro, I'm not cutting out juice. You know how much I love juice? Like immediately, bro, I'm telling you, no joke. I had a mini fridge in my room, and I actively kept 3 full cartons of Simply Lemonade, raspberry lemonade in that fridge. Like I would go to Walmart probably 2-3 times a week to make sure I had enough juice. Like I love juice. So I understood what it took, and I started to go down this road of denying myself, denying my desires, and cutting out juice. Now the first week sucked. I failed multiple times. I felt like it just wasn't for me. And I started asking myself, man, maybe it's not so bad just being fat. But eventually, as I continued to deny myself, as I took it battle by battle, something interesting happened. The more I deny myself, the more I feel the long-term benefits of denial rather than the short-term pleasures of sin. So what happened is I would deny myself. I wouldn't drink juice for like 2, 3, 4 weeks. And then I'd slip up and drink juice. And immediately I would feel that guilt. And I wouldn't even feel the pleasure that I used to feel when I would partake in juice drinking. Juice drinking, I'm saying it like it's drug addiction or something, right? But literally, the more that I fought these battles one by one, and I continued to practice to deny myself, it started to become easier to go to a restaurant. They ask if I want to drink. I say, no, I'll just take water. Or even when I had the opportunity to drink juice and maybe I didn't feel as convicted, I immediately denied myself and said, no, I'm just going to drink water, because it started to become a habit. And I felt like I truly had victory over that. And in fact, it turned into a passion of now drinking water instead of drinking juice. And now it's a part of my being. So in the same way with your battle, whether it's lust, whether it's gambling, whether it's drugs, alcohol, whatever it is, you have to take one battle at a time and understand that you are constantly denying yourself. You are denying the being that you have allowed yourself to create inside of you. You created this habit of partaking in sin, receiving pleasure from it, but then later on realizing it may not be good for you, but you still can't just stop doing this thing. You've created this habit, this being inside of you that you have to break. You're changing the course and habit of your life. It's going to be uncomfortable. It may take weeks, it may take months, it may take a couple failures, but the more you deny yourself battle by battle, take up your cross and follow God, it's going to change you into the person that God has seen for you and that he desires you to be. Hope that this encouraged you. I'm telling you that I'm taking these battles day by day. I'm not perfect. I still struggle with my temptations. It's biblical. We are going to struggle with it, but as we conform to God, as we renew our mind, we are transformed and able to take on the mind and the heart of Christ more. I love y'all. Hope this encouraged you. I hope this challenged you. I'll see you on the next video. Peace.